Naturally! Naturally!
Coming out, guys!
There you go, Cody, right up on shore.
Right up on shore. Thank you. Good to be home.
They made it. They made it.
Oh, yes.
You're a picture of that.
Oh, I didn't think of that. I put my face in the dirt.
Kiss the ground. Oh, man. Can you notice we're skinnier? Hi, buddy.
Big guy. How's it going? You see my book?
Hey there, big boy. Hey, big boy. Oh, you miss me.
Get right! Thank you. Thank you. Good news.
Oh, there's vegetables.
Oh, so.
Come home.
Ready? Excellent group. This group did things that I've never seen a beginning group do before. 35 kilometers in one day, which is very rare. Really rough water, but they handled it all really well. Really good group. We're gonna have a good summer.
Cliff diving. We became a family of
Bang!
Bang!
We can open the map. Oh yeah, Cody style. The finger! The finger! After the finger!
Okay, look this way. Okay.
I haven't seen so much people in 10 days. One more circle.
Oh, wait, hold on.
About what the program was all about. First off, I'll give an introduction myself. Dimki Laval. I'm the nephew of our chief right here, the son of Jeanette over there. It's nice to see everybody else's family around here. It was nice to be able to paddle with some of my cousins. And I think really that's a good way of thinking about what the program is about. Bringing people together, bringing a community together. This group was formed in a partnership between the O.L.E.A Recreation Program and Laurentian University. And it's designed to develop leadership skills, designed to develop self-esteem, designed to develop leadership abilities and techniques in these youth. So the trip that we just did, was not only a learning experience, but like the first test of how these youth are going to perform. And I think without a doubt, they've excelled. It was a very difficult trip. I've been on many trips. This is, I can honestly say, one of the most difficult trips we've done. High waves, high winds. We did it in canoes. We saw people in sea kayaks, which are designed for big water, big waves, and they pulled up on shore.
We smoked them!
And we paddled right past them. That's right, absolutely. They were amazed. These are professional, outdoor guides, and they were up on shore. And us, canoe people from O.L.E.A were floating past. They pulled off some amazing, amazing things without any training. We had several boats that made it through rapids. several boats that were in high water. We had several boats that didn't make it through the rapids, but that's also part of the training. We're learning from that. With the assistance of our leader here from Laurentian University, Steve. With the guidance from our boss over here, Duke Pelche.
Let's not forget Nimki Lavelle.
But most importantly, it was a peer-driven thing. These guys took care of themselves. They did all the work in the camps themselves. They did all the paddling themselves. And really, I think that's what we were trying to develop in them, is the belief that if they take the initiative, if they take the skills that they've been given and a positive attitude, they're going to be able to do whatever they set their minds to. And what we're hoping is that because they've now developed these skills and because they're building on skills that they already have, they're going to be able to share this with their peers in the community. During this trip, we've talked about many different ideas. We talked about other trips we're going to do, other kinds of experiences like this. So I'm hoping that from this beginning, I was going to say a humble beginning, but I don't think it was humble at all. I think this is a monumental beginning.
Paddling 35 kilometers.
35 kilometers in the last day, which was 1/3 of our trip.
We paddled 35 kilometers to get home to you guys today. Yesterday, 35 kilometers.
I've been on many trips, and as soon as they came around Point Grandine and we could begin to see the Wiki Water Tower, the whole thing just went faster and faster. I said, should we camp here? No, let's go!
Me and Dave played chicken with sailboats.
That's right.
Speedboats.
They were pushing big boats out of the way. Get out! We're going home. So very driven people, very motivated people, and really, really good people. Big hearts. Some of us had difficulties. Some of us needed an extra hand to carry things. The group was always there to help out without being asked. And those are the kind of qualities that we are looking for in a leadership group. So as the summer progresses, these leadership trainees and the two leadership development leaders, Jesse and Amanda, they're going to be working with 3 youth each, and these are going to be their teams. They're going to develop ideas, projects, activities, and they're going to work with their peers. So keep your eyes open, talk to people about it. There are going to be many exciting things happening this summer. So with that being said, I want everybody, let's give them another hand. They did a really, really good job. And for the first time in 7 days, I don't think any of us have to cook. Or have to worry about what we're going to eat.
No dishes!
I understand all that's been prepared, and it's all ready. And I also understand that maybe there's not enough seats, but we've been sitting on rocks for a week, so don't worry about it. So I'd encourage everybody, I believe we're ready, Mary Jo, is that right? Let's join up under the tent. What I'll do up in the tent is I'll spread out the map on the table so that you can all have a look at the really momentous trip that we did. Is anyone, we're all ready? So let's join up in the tent. We can continue questions and answers up there. Of where we are on this map. Everybody understands that Wiki's down here somewhere. Highway up to Espanola, Sudbury, and then the 69 highway down to Toronto. So where we put in to start the trip was at the French River crossing of the 69, which is just right here. And that was what, Saturday at about noon? Yeah. Around there? Was it afternoon? Yeah. 1 o'clock? Yeah, around that time. So 7 days now? Yeah. 7 days now, and 6 nights later, we figured probably over 100 kilometers, and we're back into Wiki. So what I'd like to do is to ask our participants, people that were on the trip, maybe tell some stories about how we traveled through it. What were the things that they remembered? What were some of the things that they learned? And then relate it to the map. How do we go through? To give you an example, to start off, one of the things that I thought was really nice about the way we started the trip was within about, let's see, within about 2 kilometers on the river, we could hear the drums in the distance. We could hear the jingles of the jingle dresses. There was actually a powwow going on at the French River Interpretive Center. So we pulled up onto the shore. We had to walk up the embankment of the French. And then there's all of us, you know, a little bit sweaty because we just done a couple of kilometers, walking across the French River Bridge as the highway is zipping past. And for myself as a leader, that was probably the scariest part of the trip. You know, just thinking, number one, are any of these guys going to stick their thumb out and head to Toronto? That's
I was like this on the highway. I was like, after we got dropped off.
So we climbed up the embankment. We went to the powwow, met some people, did some dancing. We almost won the $50 spot dance.
Oh yeah.
Didn't quite work out. But for me, that was a really good experience. A really good way to start it all off, right? Culturally important. We were sharing and talking to people from different places and communities and doing it all together. Right? So for me, that was a good start. So I'd encourage anybody else to talk maybe about the next day or the first set of rapids. We encountered our first set of rapids right after that.
Tell the story of how Mandy jumped the cliff.
Well, come on, tell it.
When do we get there? Actually?
Okay, well, just to move on then, the first set of rapids that we encountered was called the O.L.E.A Falls, and it was named that because that was a number of O.L.E.A priests actually died in those falls, right? So after we told them that story, the whole group was kind of like, what? We're going to go over them? No, we're not going to go over them. But so we did a little portage over there. And so, Cody, you wanted to tell a story about that?
When we made the rapids always as we were going. This guy couldn't steer very good, so of course we ran right into rocks, and I swear to God, everybody, from people from the power plant heard us smashing into the rocks.
And then after that, we did a 360. That was the highlight of
And they said, "Go ahead!"
You could tell at that point that the group was really sort of just getting into things, not really used to the bush yet. We told them to go up against the rock in what we call an eddy, which is kind of like a safe place, right? Where the current isn't going to hit you. And we told them, just grab a hold of, you know, some branches or some rocks on the side there, hold yourself into the shore. And I forget who it was that saw the spider first.
That was me.
Okay, so eventually we saw a great big spider, and he says, "Oh my God, look at that spider!" And he let go of the rock. And then I said, "Grab the rock, we're floating away." And said, "No, I can't grab the rock. There's spiders there." So they're floating down towards the falls, and I'm sort of wondering, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? But they handled it. They persevered. They paddled back up, and you know, just as an example of how far they came. You know, by the end of the trip, people were picking spiders out of their soup, right?
Don't lie, you know where we're aiming.
Okay, so is there anybody else that wants to? Anybody else wants to tell a story about how we're going through, and then tell your family about the trip where we were?
Rattlesnake.
Well, that's a good one. Rattlesnake. Let's find it here. So we're looking for.
By Silver Island.
Right here.
Oh yeah.
So we're already on Philip Edward Island. Several days into the trip, the water's really rough. So we decided we're going to take this old portage that apparently that the voyageurs used. It hadn't been used in years. Very overgrown.
Since the voyageurs used it.
Possibly. So a couple of leaders went out, marked the trail, and then we started moving the stuff. And I'm walking back on the portage, and all I could hear was this, you know, this loud sort of, almost screaming Somebody's
Marco.
saying Marco, because this became a, sort of like our safety word, right? They would say Marco, and then you had to say Polo, and
Or we'd say Bannock.
fry bread. But anyway, we heard Marco, and so I came walking down the trail, and I saw the two girls, Mandy and Amanda, standing in the middle of the trail, and they're standing there, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" They said, "We can hear a rattlesnake." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I start hitting the trees and the branches and sure enough, rattlesnake in the middle of the trail. So, Andy, tell him.
It was scary.
And then there's Clifton and Brian. Brian's carrying a pack, all casual.
Oh, it's heavy. It was this guy's
Big,
pack.
heavy
It was
pack,
like
okay.
300 pounds.
And then there's Clifton, right behind Brian.
Carrying a whole boat.
Carrying a canoe by himself. Walking along.
In front there.
And all he hears is,
Go!
go, 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 go,
That was good. That was good.
He ran with that canoe. Holy. Ran me over.
Where were the cliffs?
Yeah,
we're
we're
jumping.
the cliffs.
Where were the cliffs?
Jump.
It was day 2 lunch.
Yeah.
Day 2 lunch. We started swimming. We had a mandatory swim because it was really hot. Me and Brian, the whole way we were canoeing. Day 2. Like this, eh? Looking sideways. Looking the other way. Big, huge cliffs. There's another good cliff. Should we stop and go jump? So we start turning. Back on course! Back on course, and we're going. So we take off the other way. Back on course! Sooner or later we started using our imagination. Wouldn't it be wicked if we just saw someone come running and jump off right now? Because we really want to jump. So we get to our lunch site. And at first we're jumping off a rock, maybe this high, having the time of our life. The best thing ever. We look across, spot maybe a 35-foot rock, and then there's probably a 40-foot rock beside it. We go up there. So we go check the water. About 10 minutes, we're trying to go down to see how deep it is. So finally we decided we're gonna jump this. So we swam up, big steep climb, walked across. We get to the top, sure enough, I'm first. I'm all ready to go. I get there, I look down. Go ahead, Brian. So Brian goes up, and he's looking. Well, you got here first. You can. So we get to the cliff, and I'm there, and I'm like, okay, I got this, no problem. So we jump. Close my eyes, my arms. We go right in the water. Best thing ever. So Brian goes next. Runs, jumps, flies. One leg comes out, one arm. You just hear a smack. Comes up. He's okay, but he's okay. And then there's Keegan behind us. He's just looking. Looks at us. Was it fun? We're like, yeah. So he jumps. I love my job! And it goes into the water. And then we think that's it, okay? We think that's all. Just us 3 jumpers. We start swimming away. We hear, hey guys! So we turn around. Sure enough, Big Dave. On top of the rock. He looks. Am I gonna touch? And we're like, no! Sure enough, Dave goes, oh! You just hear waves go flying. Dave comes up. So we go back up. Like this was awesome. So we go back up around. We're like, okay, let's try the next one. So we go up there, same thing. I was the first one there. Same thing. I look. Go ahead, Brian. Here's the way. Brian looks. No problem. Just jumps right away. Goes down.
Nope, that's
me.
went up on top.
Yeah. Goes down, goes in. Then I'm looking. Whew. So I go. Close my eyes, hit the water. No problem. Keegan follows. Next thing we know, we're swimming back up around. Guess who comes to join the party? Nimke.
Sure. All the fun.
Nimke comes climbing up, way behind us. So we're the tough guys. Eh? We've already gone a couple times. We're like, okay, Nimke, you're up. Huh? I'm first? And we're like, yeah, we've already gone. So he's like, so that's safe down there, right? I'll be okay.
It's my job. Keep you all safe.
And I'm like, yeah, no problem. So Nimki jumps. We all jump again. And then the highlight of this jump, we all went up again. Mandy climbs up. She wants to jump really bad. Really bad. So she's up on the rock. 10 minutes. No, I can't. Okay, here we go. Just count me down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, stop counting, I can't. And after all, but she really wants to jump because she had no choice because you can't climb back down the rope. So she's up there and she's looking. She's like, okay, I got this. Once again. So we did it for about 10 minutes. And then finally, she's like, okay, when I'm going down, should I hold my breath? And then we're like, well, if you want to breathe on the water, I think it'd be a good idea. And then we said, just as long as you keep your stuff in tight, you'll be fine. Sure enough, she jumps. Hits the water, comes up, no problem. 10 minutes later, she jumped the cliff. So that was one of my highlights of this trip, was actually watching Mandy take the step off the rock. It was good. We hooted and hollered.
So, any other of our participants want to relate a story? Another highlight, another adventure? Something that they enjoyed?
Me and your highlight.
What's that?
What were those rapids called we went down? The second set?
They were one set of rapids that's below Dolls Rapids, which is in the French River basin in the mouth. So that would be the elbow. So right in here. So this is the beginning of day 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no one else wanted to go first. This guy volunteers me and him to go first. Right behind Steve and Mandy, because they had to go down there and make sure if someone flipped. And it's like, I don't want to go first. He goes, we're going, man. Just don't worry about it. We're going. What? Yeah, like,
We're going to be the first one to flip anyways, I said.
And I was like, okay, let's get it over done with. We're going to flip anyway, so you guys better be ready down there. So then these guys go, they're like, okay, let's go. So we start paddling. I was like, no, I don't want to go. Let's stop. He goes, keep paddling. I had no choice because we're already starting to hit them. We're going. We hit this wave. It splashes up. It's like, oh, we're done. He goes, keep paddling. So we're paddling all along there. We're like, but we made it. We thought we were gonna flip. We did pretty good though, I thought.
I got a story about those rapids. Well, I was with Hope here. And we were the last ones to go. And the whole way we were like, no problem, we got this. Watching everybody go, everyone's going. We got this, no problem. Later on, an hour later, I think we still got this. No, yeah, we got this. So we start going real hard, doing real good. Big, huge wave comes up. I won't lie. Since I was in front, their canoe was like this. So we're going good, nowhere near tipping, nothing. We hit a wave, and I keep canoeing, I look down, I got water up to my waist. So I'm just like, whatever. Put my paddle down and just wait, and then... So we didn't tip, we sunk. We're still in the boat. We're underwater, trying to go! We were about maybe 5 feet away from the land and just couldn't make it. It didn't happen.
The funny thing was, it was exactly opposite of Dave and Betchamy's boat. Jesse and Hope were bowed down going through like this, and they sunk. Dave and Betchamy's boat and they made it through no problem. I think their boat was dry.
Just the front half.
Underwater, and I'm yelling, don't stop paddling!
Don't stop paddling. Okay.
Does anybody want to talk about how they felt when we made it out of the French River and into the big water?
It was fun for the first part.
Touchdown!
tell that story? Oh, with the Thunderbox.
I'd like to hear something about the day where you guys had to work all your might just to get to, was it Silver Island? Like, what was that like out there? Really rough, or what the water's like?
That's when we met up with the kayak.
That's when we met up with the kayak. Showed them who was boss.
And then you got your phone number of some lady.
He goes over. Okay, guys, you guys go write your journals. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna go get
And he's
toilet
there,
paper.
and I'm gonna go get toilet paper. I'm gonna do some trades, you know. We ran out of shit tickets. See? So we're going. And then Nimki, I'm on the rock, writing my journal. And then there's Nimki canoeing, a big smile on his face. He's got his hair in a nice new perfect braid.
Clean
He's got
shirt.
a nice clean shirt on. He's going over. And then he comes back. No toilet paper.
Oh no, I brought toilet paper.
You brought a chocolate bar, man.
Toilet paper.
And toilet paper, okay, and toilet paper.
You traded our food for personal gain.
Yeah, he traded our food, and he comes back. And
Toilet paper's more important than food on day 6. Trust
So
me.
is that all that flour you took?
comes back with a home phone number, an email, a business number. Look at this guy.
I got it for you guys.
And he said it was for us.
Oh, no.
And he didn't give us the first 3 digits. 705 blank and the other 4 numbers.
Privacy concerns. But yeah, just as, once again, as an example of how well this group was working and how they really were able to push through their concerns and their fears. This was a group with professional guides, the sea kayaking group, and they had decided to come off the water. You know, and we were still going, and they couldn't believe that we were in canoes. These guys did really, really well. Was there anybody in our group that you know, was really concerned when we hit the big water and the big waves? You thought, you know, this is it. What am I doing? This was a mistake.
Not me and Dave.
I wanted to hit those waves real hard.
And Dave's still in the back?
Jesse's up front paddling as hard as he can. He's like, yeah, we got this, let's go. And I'm in the back paddling going, let's head back.
Turn, I don't want to go out there. Another story. Nimki was talking about, we were at one of our campsites, talking about taking nice wilderness pictures. Eh? He called it his wilderness pictures. Anyway, and so shortly after that, we got Dave here. We got Dave here making a fire, and he's like this, eh? He's like this, making a fire. Good old Nimki, right behind him, fixing his braid. Oh, yeah.
Terrible stories.
Make that fire.
Got a picture of it too.
But I'm not sure what that story has to do with leadership development.
Oh, and then we were at the campsite and I was filling up my water bottle. And then Dave's like sitting across from me. And then as I go to get up, he lets one rip. I'm like looking around. I'm like, shit.
Perfect opportunity.
Or the first day. First day. Dave, are you snarking again? Don't even worry about it.
So another example of how this team really made decisions on their own and persevered, you know, made decisions about how we're going to complete our goal was that we gave them a responsibility. We had leaders of the day. So there was 2 co-leaders amongst the trainees, and it was their job to make the decisions about how we move through the wilderness. What's the campsite going to be? What time are we going to leave? When are we going to eat? What are the meals going to be? And then it became Steve and I's job just to make sure that all of that was done safely, and it was done in the appropriate way. And this group decided, because we began to talk about the waves and the conditions and the possibility that we may not make our goal. And we said,
Today.
you know, these are options that we have. We can pull out early, we can go to Hartley Bay and take out in the French River, or we can start to figure out how we can get on the water when it's calm and when we can do some paddling. So, and we said to them, you know, we might have to wake up early and paddle in the morning, and once the wind picks up, we'll make camp. And the group took it upon themselves to, you know, their first idea was, okay, we're up at 4:30, and Steve and I were like, well, 4:30, that's probably a bit much. But we were up at 5, 6 o'clock for most of the trip.
every morning.
So when you take these guys home and they say, I can't get up, it's a lie. They can get up, they can make breakfast, they can be out the door by 7.
And they know how to do dishes.
And they know how to do dishes. And every one of them knows how to cook.
But you gotta take into consideration there was 3 of us in every group helping. Okay? Can't do dishes by myself.
Can't cook by myself.
Can't cook by myself either.
So when
And
I
the
was talking-
excuses start already. Okay.
Yeah, when I was talking to Cody earlier, I think he realized that when he cooks at home now, he'll know what an oven mitt is for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cody talking away. Oh, grab my pizza.
He had the oven mitt on.
I got a story.
He had the oven mitt on the other hand. And so he had the oven mitt on and then he goes, grab my pizza.
Another story. I think it was our first night. Nimke was telling us a story about one time him and Clifton were out camping. And he heard rustling against his tent. So he was half asleep and he starts going, starts barking. So I think it would have been the third night, guys?
Yeah.
Third night?
Second
night?
Week and a half.
We had a big tent. So for us, we had to go looking for a nice flat area to put our tent. So second night, we're way in the bush, okay? It's like a 20-minute hike just to get to our tent. Trees, rocks, cliffs, mud,
Bear dens.
Found some bones out there.
Big bones.
Saw a big femur. But anyway, we're lying outside, or in the tent, it's quiet. All of a sudden we just hear, we all look at each other, hey, and we hear it again. And we're trying to be real quiet, and me and Brian are like, okay guys, don't make any noise. Gotta be real quiet, okay? There's something out there.
This guy grabs onto me right away.
Hey, there's something out there, Brian, there's something out there. So we go to the tent, and there's Keegan. Big hot shot. There's something out there? And we're like, yeah, man. Next thing you know, no more noise in the bush. It was wicked.
So does anybody have any stories about the last couple of days?
Last
Yesterday.
night.
Yesterday, yeah.
Bear. Oh, we saw a bear yesterday.
And a deer.
Oh,
Deer.
you're trying to sneak up onto the deer with the horn.
Oh yeah, we found a big elk antler. Elk antler.
Nimke's in the back of the canoe.
It was working. It was working until Betchby paddled up his side and goes,
I was gonna jump out and chase it.
hey, cousin! Well, I think our food is ready, but before we do that, we have an important part of this trip. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Stephen Ritchie from Laurentian, who's in charge of the Outdoor Adventure program. And he's going to give us a little talk, maybe talk about himself and his experiences in the program. And then he has a special surprise for everybody.
So anyway, it was a great honor actually to go on this trip, and I learned probably more than any one person here. We had lots of discussions actually about Aboriginal roots and culture, and it was fascinating, and I had time to spend with Duke actually in the tent. And
He's got our humor. He says, and huh?
it was a great honor to go on the trip, and I learned just a fabulous amount. And I tell you, I'm extremely impressed with this whole group. From the first day to the end, when we were up early in the morning, and the number of challenges that were met and overcome on this trip in 7 days, I can only call it remarkable. What was thrown at us, and the number of decisions that had to be made, and the leaders stepping forward to make those decisions, it was just phenomenal. I mean, you just heard a snippet of stories here, but I mean, I was standing in the back here hearing them, and I was just thinking, I wanted to say, and what about? I mean, there was so much that was experienced in the last 7 days. It was just phenomenal. I coordinated a program at Laurentian University called Outdoor Adventure Leadership, and it's a 4-year degree program, and we actually do something similar to this with the third-year students. So this was a big challenge that we actually, a similar program we implement at the university level in third year, so it was a significant accomplishment. One of the things that we also do is we like to partner with certifying bodies that are provincially or nationally recognized. And so this trip also was a level 1 Ontario Recreational Canoeing and Kayaking Association certification course for all the participants. So in canoe tripping. And so right now I'd like to actually congratulate all the participants for passing their level 1. And I have some
Brian, put it down for a second.
David.
Don't worry, I'm
Cody.
nothing.
Amanda. Andy. Congratulations. Amanda. Jesse.
Give me a hug, big boy.
Touch me. And Amy. And Hope. So they can go on to their level 2 if they want.
So the other thing that means, now that they have the certification, is that they can also take their family and their friends out canoe tripping. So encourage them to take you out. No more excuses. Right? All they need is a canoe, some life jackets, some paddles. They can take you out and they can do all the cooking. They can do all the camp setup. They can do everything now, which is a really wonderful accomplishment for all of them. So, another aspect of the safety is that we should probably eat our food because it's sitting out in the sun. But before we do that, I'm gonna ask Duke Pelche to say a few words as the sort of the boss, the director of the program.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I told you I was just going to be quiet here for a minute.
Okay, that's a few words.
There you go, that's a few words. I just want to thanks Laurentian University, Steve Ritchie, Rob Schinke, Hope Youngblood, Amy Blodgett, Pat Picker, Jeanette Michelle, Mary Jo Wabno, Lana Trudeau, Nikki Laval, all the participants, and most especially the Wingutch O.L.E.A for their support and realizing a goal that we set for last year. For the past 5 years we've been doing research in sport leadership, and we've turned it into actual leadership, not only in sport but in everyday life for youth, and it's going to be peer driven. We've got a good core group here that's going to kickstart this initiative here in Wakumkong, and want to give you all a big chimigwech because it was a lot of hard work. We persevered. I don't know too many people that would canoe from Point Grundine to Wiki in one day with 2 4-hour stops. But one of them was really good. We had some fish and chips and plenty. So with that, I want to say thank you to all the families for your support and encouragement, your prayers. I'd like to thank Jen Little up there for keeping us safe over the waters. I'd also like to acknowledge Cody. Cody took it upon himself to offer some salmon each and every morning before we went out on behalf of the group. Miigwech Cody. So we're part of the research we're doing. We're trying to incorporate a holistic living, knowing who you are, knowing your culture, and knowing who your support systems and what they are, and how to respect all of them. And I think that a lot of the lessons that our group had learned this week are ones that they'll take with them for the rest of their lives. and they'll be able to pass on, and one day they'll look back when they're great, they have gray hairs and elders, and they'll say, encourage their grandchildren that there was one time when they went from French River to Prairie Point, Meshkadale.
6 days.
One other story is we had last night, we were looking for a camp spot. Badgley Island, we weren't too sure how safe that was because we were out in the wilderness, well, we thought wilderness French River area.